I'm Omar Issa, and welcome to Culture Study. In this episode, I'm joined by two incredible guests. The first is Duckworth, a phenomenal singer, songwriter, and all around musician and creative. The second guest was a much needed cameo by our mutual friend and extremely talented photographer director, Mancy Gant. It's a funny story, but I actually met Duckworth while in line at a juice bar, less than 24 hours before recording this episode. On the other hand, Mancy and I have actually been friends for many years, and I knew they had collaborated on a few album covers in the past, but it wasn't until I saw their handshake and embrace that I realized that they were the best of friends. We explored a ton of topics during this conversation, like Duckworth touring with Billie Eilish, announcing his Chrome Bull World Tour, and escaping a high school fight with gangbangers by way of his mom's prayer team. While Mancy joins us a bit later, after capturing a few photos, it was great to hear him reflect on turning 30 during the lockdown, sharing some gems from his favorite reads, and lovingly fact-checked Duckworth throughout the entire conversation. I hope you all enjoy this episode, and I ask that you share it with one other person who would enjoy it as well. You can also follow us on Instagram and tag us when you listen. Our handle is @culturestudy. Thanks so much. Peace. What's going on, man? Welcome to Culture Study.
Thank you.
We are here at Spotify Studios in LA.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to our boy Mancy for coming through as well.
He in this thing.
I want to start off by hearing three of your favorite things about Mancy.
He's a Taurus, so he gets my stubbornness.
That's one.
He has a good taste in furniture.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Mancy.
It's like his mid-century taste is like spectacular.
He follows the right Instagrams, huh?
Yeah, he follows the right Instagram. and his choice in women.
Choice in women. Wow. Please expand.
Should I make it singular? Not women. Woman.
Woman. Okay.
Woman.
Okay.
No, you're great, right? But not like dating wise, just like the woman that you find to be like beautiful. You see how I said that?
I feel like the whole podcast we should just turn it into a Mancy conversation.
Oh God.
I'm playing, but very much appreciate you being here. Feel like the world works in very mysterious ways. Yesterday, I met you officially yesterday.
Yes.
Less than 24 hours ago.
Less than 24.
I went to a juice bar after getting some acupuncture for my 29-year-old chronic pained neck.
Understood.
Walked in, you were there.
I was there.
Also getting a smoothie.
After getting going to my physical therapist.
After going to your physical therapist.
Getting my knees worked on.
The funny thing is, for me, it was between the juice bar or Sweet Green, and I really I was leaning Sweet Green.
Gotcha.
The line just felt like it was going to be too long, so I went juice bar.
See, so in the multiverse, you went to Sweet Green.
In the
this podcast did not happen.
That is true and false at the same time.
Yeah.
But anyways, I just think it's super random. Shout out to the whole team from Spotify for hosting us here, allowing us to use the space. It feels like the stars aligned. Thank you for the background DJ.
Doing my West Side.
But I wanted to start off. I think what's really cool about everything. One is just meeting you and you being so open to this conversation, less than 24 hours notice, but also knowing that you just gotten back from touring, from festivals. You were touring with Billie Eilish. You performed at Gov Ball, performed at Something in the Water in DC. How are you feeling right now, and how does it feel to be back on stage?
Well, yeah, I had like withdrawal during COVID because I just didn't know what to do myself. I'm so used to I've been a tour artist for a minute. So especially during certain seasons like fall, I'm gone. I'm always gone. So just sitting inside the house and like looking at the wall and trying to like stay motivated. It was crazy. It was terrible. But also I learned a lot. I gave a lot to my human, more than like what my artists needed. But I'm just happy to be back on these stages, looking at these people's faces and stuff.
I love it.
Challenging them to shake their ass.
I love it. What is it? You said shake their ass. What's really dope is just seeing you on stage. One is seeing clips, and also just friends who have been at those places said that you were an incredible energy. Like, you have an incredible stage presence. What are you channeling when you're on stage? Like, what is it that where do you get everything from, that energy?
I think it's innate in me for sure. But like, there's sometimes where like I'll watch like Queen, like Freddie Mercury before I go on stage, or like or like Prince or like Bad Brains or something like that. And like anybody who was just like really crazy with like the performance is very like.
No. You straight.
If you heard that click in the back, that was a medium format camera. We need that picture. All right, yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
All right, yeah. So, yeah, Freddie Mercury, yeah, all that.
So you watching it on YouTube before you go out?
Yeah, very much so. Or like listening to the project. I mean, listen to an album.
Okay, cool. I love that. I want to specifically ask about Something in the Water. So I know that Pharrell is one of your biggest inspirations. Was this one of your first interactions with him, or have you met him before?
No, I've met him a couple of times. I opened up for him in Montreux Jazz Festival in Switzerland and stuff. That was crazy for NERD. And then before that, I met him on my birthday. It was really some like Cinderella type thing, you know. But I'm not really giving Cinderella. But when the clock struck 12, because I was talking to his old manager Jerry, and like it was an Adidas event. P was there, Helen was there, the whole Adidas team. And I'm talking to Jerry. I'm like, bro, I really want to meet him. Like, it's so imperative for me to meet him. He was like, I'm sorry, bro, you got to catch a wave. People saying like, no. So Helen gets tired, I think. So then she just like taps P, like, let's go. So then they both get up and they walking out. And then Jerry's just like, hey, P, I want you to meet somebody. Here's Duckworth. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I like shake his hand. I'm just like, bro, like, thank you for like this whole event, but like also like thank you for everything. And he was like, no, for sure, it's all good, man. And this is like real humble P. This isn't like skateboard P.
Yeah. Like
this is like, oh, like I am a vessel P.
Yeah.
So he was just like super chill. He was super chill, super nice, bro, super humble, you know. And that was the first time I met him.
Wow. And how long ago was that?
2018.
Okay. Now let me ask you what it's like full circle then to be performing at his event, Something in the Water, something he puts on. How does that feel? Like, and just in general, your interactions with him, you've idolized him for so long. So what is that emotion that goes through, and is that even maybe like an affirmation that you're doing things right if this is the world that you're in now?
Yeah, it kind of just speaks on like the power of like manifestation and like really like honing in on a specific energy or specific person or specific place, destination, you know. Like if you really just keep working at it, it's kind of like a marble what would we call that, like a marble not box, what would that be, like a marble pillar, maybe
pillar.
Call it
we
pillar.
need Mancy's furniture expertise for this.
We do right now. So imagine like a tall like vertical marble like square, I guess. And then you're just like, you know, you got a little chisel, you're just chiseling away. You keep chiseling away for years. It'll eventually become a really beautiful art piece. You see how I walked into that? How I walked into that moment? But yeah.
You talking about a sculpture?
I'm talking about a sculpture, Brad. But yeah, so like being closer and closer and closer to his orbit is only serendipitous of like just in high school, like him being the soundtrack to my rebellion, man. Like I was skating in South Central, one of the only skaters at the time, and it's just like we didn't really have anybody to give us like the anthem, you know, or to make us feel good or feel like normal human beings. Because before that, we were just like the weirdos, the white boys, the Oreos.
Right. So
it's like he made it cool to be us, you know. And then like in college, finding other people that like were just like NERD, like Neptunes fans, like Mancy over here. We like geeked out.
That's why,
like,
yeah.
Man, so many months, so many years on like just Neptunes, you know. So. But giving that energy, you know, and then doing music, and then like even in our music, some of my like chord progressions and chord choices is just because of like Neptunes.
So, I love that. Yeah, I know you mentioned "Breakout" as one of your go-to NERD tracks. What's another one, maybe by Pharrell, whether it's Neptunes, NERD, or his, you know, him performing as himself that is kind of underrated but you love?
What's a good one? I mean, if you talk to an NERD fan, I guess it's like it's not, you know. But you know what though? No. I would say maybe there's certain moments that are underrated. Like I used to hate Nothing. That album Nothing, I despised it. You know, so maybe I was like underrating it my own self. But I went back into it maybe a couple months ago, and there's some moments. There's some moments, especially like middle and like going towards the end of the album.
Very specific.
Very specific. Thanks. Like what's that? What's the is it Fishes or the one before before Inside the Clouds? It's like rolling. No, that's it. Inside Class. They say the earth and before you know fish go. And earth to the sport. Leave it on dry land, dry land. You know that one. That one's crazy. And then he wrote one for Chris Brown.
Oh wow.
Hold your head, young. Life is a fish. That was crazy. That was wild. I used to sleep on that one. But yeah.
That's the underrated. I love it.
I
can't even think of it, so I got to go back and listen.
Yeah. And then like, I mean, but for me, I geek out on like all the unreleased tracks. You know, it's only like 3 or 4, but this one called Locked Away.
Mm-hmm.
I can play that one over and over and over again.
It leaked.
It leaked years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago. But I have that one on loop, like heavy.
I love that.
Look, I'm so much of a fan. This is terrible. I'm so much of a fan that the original Neptune's website, it was like this was it like a satellite or something? It was like a satellite. And then like on each end of the satellite was navigation. And then you would float over the navigation, it'll be like a Pharrell sound. Like
oh wow.
You know, whatever he was doing before West Side Gun. And then but in the background was like this like looping synth progression. And I found it. And
where'd you find it?
On YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Someone like recovered it. And now it's like my alarm clock for
wow.
every morning.
I love that.
Like every morning at 7 o'clock.
Be cool to integrate that somehow into one of your.
So I was listening to some like jungle, like just like a jungle playlist on YouTube. It was like drum and bass pretty much. And then my alarm clock went up at the same time. It was perfect. It was perfect. It worked perfectly together. So I may figure that out.
That's dope. I love that. We're gonna dig a little bit more into these conversations around creativity and inspiration as well. I know Pharrell is a big part of that, and ERD is a big part of that. Before we do, you know, you're gearing up for your summer festival tour here, or for the rest of your summer festival tour, I guess. Outside Lands, Lollapalooza, Hard Summer. You're also kicking off your own world tour, Chrome Bull tour. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How are you feeling about everything? And tell me a little bit about the Chrome Bull tour and kind of the inspiration behind what it is.
So, I mean, we're starting off with Chrome Bull. It's a transition piece because so I wanted to do this like a 3-part project that started off super good. Like imagine an infinity symbol. And in the infinity symbol, you start off at the intersection and then you go one direction, which is backwards. Depending on where or you could be going forwards, depending on which perspective you're looking at it from. So I wanted to, with the first album, Super Good, I wanted to be like heavy nostalgia. So like 70s nostalgia, like disco and like flares and like burnt oranges and all that good stuff. And then as you come around the infinity symbol, you hit back in the intersection, which is the present. And that's SG8, the project I dropped last year. And I was talking about like COVID, and I was talking about just anxiety and like being in the function, being back outside and stuff. And then the next part of the infinity is the future. So after I dropped SG8, which was present, I wanted to find a way to transition people into like that future moment, which is the last project we call SGX. But SGX, since it is going to sound like the future, I don't want to just like drop that on people, you know. So I wanted to find a way to, just to massage the people into it. So I wanted to do a project that's like all dance. And like I feel like for me, I feel like dance naturally sits in this like whole soundscape of the future in a certain way. Even like, I don't know, watching Tron and seeing Daft Punk score the whole film.
Right.
And it was like, you know, it's dance music, but it's, I don't know, it just sits so well. And I feel like for me, even on stage, like the way I perform, like I'm not a dancer, but I'm a dancer, you know?
Yeah.
So, this project will be like, it'll be soul house, it'll be drum and bass, UK garage, and that's pretty much it. That's it. You know?
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. That's exciting, man. And you're, I mean, is this your first world tour that you're doing? Ish.
We called it a world tour. Like I've definitely done like a tour in like Europe for sure. But the way that's all happening back to back, we just like conveniently called it a world tour.
Yeah, I love it.
You know.
Okay, cool. We're gonna transition also into the current state of music. I want to talk about that a little bit. There is a transition taking place right now where it's shifting heavily into house. Right. We just heard.
We're in the early stages of it.
Yeah. We're just at the exactly. It's like this turning point right now. Drake's recent album that is entirely house inspired, essentially. Beyonce just dropped a single which has, you know, a sample that's like 40 years old or something like that. So I guess what do you make of the new interest in house music? and I guess context as well, is I've seen you dabble in this world
Mm-hmm.
very often for a lot of your career. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you're very genre bending is a way I would put it. But you know,
Mm-hmm.
to see it reemerge all of a sudden, what do you kind of make of it?
I guess that's the grand mystery. First off, why did Drake want to like do house music, and why did Beyonce drop this house track a couple days after is the question. But for me, I've been feeling that things are going to start going towards house because like we've been like in trap music for like 10 plus years. We've been trapped in trap. It's like this weird Twilight Zone,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like also because of like being like in a pandemic and COVID, like people have been sad for so long, 3 years, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
People gonna want to like dance. People gonna want to move, you know. They don't want to be sitting there like doing the same rhythms, and it's just like dance music. It just gives you like that freedom, you know,
Yeah.
with like the 4 on the floor, or just like the nice little 120 BPM or whatever it may be. So I was like, I felt that like things, but like house music's been going on with like the homie Channel Trez,
Absolutely.
Aluna, Nez, Katronada. Like there's been people, and I noticed I said all POC, you know, but like it's been like people been doing house music for a good minute, you know.
Yeah.
And it's been thriving.
Right.
But it wasn't like, I guess to the masses, people still called it like music, you know, like literally, like I'll play for like the homies.
Yeah, there's
like,
been a lot of hate on it.
It's been
for a
so
long
much
time.
hate. So it's like we knew there was gonna be a catalyst to make it like the sound like more welcome the masses into it. But it's still early. Yeah. It's still early. Like it just happened. So we're gonna have to see in the next like 5 months how the world changed.
I have a question for you then to follow up on that, because I see you as an artist who essentially observes what's happening and then does something different or even the opposite. So seeing the shift in the house, does that make you want to shift away from it, or does that make you want to kind of double down on what you've already been doing? That's like a really dope sound already.
Just make my own version of it, because it's like with people like, once again, like Channel Trez and like Nez, who've been doing it for so long, like I'm not gonna, like that's their life, you know. And it's like for me, I'm always just like taste testing, you know. So I don't want to like people to look at me and just be like, oh, he's a house artist, you know. Like there are people who really thrive in that area, but I just want to make it my own. But it's like I have been doing it for like a good minute, and like even Mancy, like when I was making Super Good, he was just like, bro, lean into more of the house tracks and shit. And I was just like, no. Like for real.
He tried to tell you.
He tried to tell me, bro. Like he tried to tell me, but I was just like, you know, tourist, you know. Yeah. So I was just like, no, I'm gonna do this, you know. And I had like maybe 2 tracks on there that was like house, like giving house and shit. But like it took a minute for me to feel comfortable in it. But like now that I've performed for so long, and I've like even sat more in like alt R&B, like with SG8 and stuff like that, I want to convey more movement. I want people to like, and people move in my shows, period. But I want to make it where it's like, it's not even about me so much. Like I want to just have the band, or I just want to have the track going, and it's just like I'm just dancing, I'm grooving, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm more so like the pastor in that sense, in the church of like funk and ass shaking, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, you know.
I love that. I love that the house does have like an extended kind of just like almost sequence of no vocals. Yeah. Just constant groove, funk.
Constant groove.
Vibe, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, I want to keep pushing, but you know, aside, we're just closing out the conversations on your tours. Now you're being back and for a little bit, but aside from drinking smoothies, what are you doing in your off time? In between shows, in between tours?
Designing. I'm always designing. That was like that's what I went to college for, was graphic design. So like, I think I'm very much along with designing, I'm like in research phase, because I want to eventually get more into architecture. And I had this crazy vivid dream that I literally saw the future, and what the future looked like. It looked like all the new innovative technology, but like also this balance of living with the earth instead of taking away from it. And it merged together perfectly. Like it was seamless, and like you would think that the two wouldn't go together, but like one benefits off the other. To technology benefits off the earth benefits off the technology, and like what people were wearing. It kind of was giving like Yeezy season 6, but like, but it was tight, and I was like, damn, and I can't get that dream out of my mind, you know. And like the buildings look like mid-century modern like shapes, but it's like mid-century modern if it didn't get stuck in the 60s, in the 50s and 60s. Like, if it actually continued to evolve, you know? Because I feel like when people do mid-century now, it definitely still looks like the 50s and 60s.
Right.
But it's like people
There's
at
an
that
evolution.
time, you know what I'm saying? But people at that time, they were tired of like all the European like pillars and like ornaments and like everything just looked like fucking Roman something, you know? And it's just like they were over it. So they were like, let's simplify. Let's, instead of doing like all these crazy ornamentation, like let's just give like a flat shape, but like let's make the shape a little bit like dynamic and stuff. So and they didn't. I feel like they knew that they were creating for the future, but who would have known they would last this long? So I think that we're at that next step, where it's like we need to start creating for that again.
Yeah, and it sounds like that's you're one of the people that are gonna hopefully push that boundary as well.
Yes, definitely.
I feel like oftentimes when we think of an idea, if it feels right, it's usually us, like we are the ones that are responsible for pushing it forward. You know what I mean?
And I want to see shit push forward.
Yeah,
I think we're like so due for like, I know it takes like thousands of years for like human evolution and like via like adaptation and stuff like that, but I feel like we're past due. We're past due.
We've expired.
You know, we've expired, and like things are happening. Like technology is growing exponentially, and just like our lives are changing because of it and stuff. But it's like, I think it's just time, and I think it's really crazy too. Like even gas prices right now are like, it's like almost $8 and stuff. You're gonna see more and more people getting like electronic cars because they're just fed up. They
electronic
tired.
too.
They're tired, you know. But within that, like you're gonna push. People are gonna naturally push forward, you know.
Electric cars, listening to house.
That's
the future right there.
Oh God.
I wanna actually rewind a little bit and talk about your upbringing. You're from Los Angeles. You're from Inglewood.
All right.
Where you from? South Central?
I'm from South Central.
Excuse me. But you went to high school in Inglewood.
Yeah, I graduated from Inglewood.
Okay. So what's special to you about being from Los Angeles and growing up here?
South Central gave me a spinal cord. I feel like if you can really survive in those type of neighborhoods and environments, you can really survive. Yeah, like if I'm in a corporate meeting with a person trying to like jug me with some like stupid ass number, I'm like, bro, like I survived South Central. Like, get your stupid ass out of here, man. Like, I'm not gonna settle for this, you know. But I'm so grateful that I had that background and I had that juxtaposition of like these like beautiful spaces I'm in right now, you know, and traveling around the world, but always having that as like my foundation. And you become more grateful for those. Like, if it was given to me and handed down to me when I was younger, I'd be bored by now. But it's like I'm still like excited. I'm like, damn, I'm so grateful. You know?
I love that. It centers you. Yeah, that's great. I also think it's interesting to meet a fellow Angelino, because I feel like there's most of the people I meet in the industry or just even around just in the creative community are not from LA. So I think there's a certain special, and there's also LA has a horrible rap often, right?
Oh, because like Hollywood and stuff?
Hollywood influencers, you know.
I think they separate Hollywood from LA because they just make like Hollywood the epitome of LA. Like,
right.
You know, like that is one area of LA, you know?
Yeah. No, 100%. But I appreciate you being from LA, because I think there's just something. It's LA locals are dope from what I've seen. There's there's just good people here. It's just definitely. Like every other place in the world. There's definitely outliers, but it's a cool place. So you grew up in a Christian household.
Yep.
Were your parents strict?
Hell yeah. I couldn't go outside till I was like 14.
You couldn't leave the house.
I couldn't like play in my neighborhood till I was like literally 14. And like I couldn't listen.
I don't think that's
like,
healthy.
Not really.
You stayed indoors until you were
like,
14.
No, like I was able to like go to school, go to church, you know what I'm saying? But it's like actually like being in the neighborhood, being in the streets and stuff like that. Like I was in the backyard.
It's so funny because my next question was going to be where you live in two different lives with a strict household, being indoors and outside, but you were never outside.
I wasn't outside.
So you were not.
I was in the backyard for playtime.
But as you got older, you know, and stepped outside for the first time, do you feel like you were able to exist comfortably both, you know, in your household and just kind of around religion and faith, or did you feel like you were a different person when you came outside, or you felt connected to other things?
I would say my mom, like within us only listening to like gospel and classical music, like she expanded my mind musically without even me knowing, because like, man, like the composition for gospel music is wild, and then classical music gets like insane. That's why they mainly use it for movies, you know. So it's like, but that's normalized in my brain to hear like these grand compositions at like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you know? So
Right.
it made it where when I started to do music, I had a lot to pull from, you know? And then even like not being in the streets when I was younger, it made me so curious about the world because I was fed up. I'm like, man, I'm so tired of being inside. So as soon as like I was able to like leave, I left and I tried to go as far as possible, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like when you like hold something back and pull something back for so long and then you just keep pulling and it goes, blah!
Yeah.
Just shot around the whole world.
I love that.
Mhm.
I have a direct quote from your journal from the early 90s.
Mm.
Mancy's eyes opened up.
From the 90s? My journal?
My dad and his band,
Oh,
they were
God.
jamming out, and I loved it.
I remember that entry. I remember that journal entry.
Don't ask me how I got it, but shout out Inglewood Swap Meet.
And I didn't even. It was way more flavorful than that. It was corny as. I say, wait, say it again.
I'm paraphrasing. My dad and his band, they were jamming out, and I loved it.
Yeah, and
Something
I
like
think
that.
I said something, and it was rad, man. Like, I think I wrote something like that. I was so corny.
Mancy got the facepalm emoji on his face.
He's so ashamed to be my friend.
Nah, he's proud. I could tell.
No, it's not.
Your family is essentially, you were talking about it, but your family is made up of musicians.
Mm.
You mentioned your dad used to rehearse in the living room.
Yeah.
And this was before you were allowed outside, so you used to sneak downstairs.
Yeah, I mean it's all one floor, but
one floor. Used to sneak in and watch him rehearse.
Yeah, like we have like the dining room area with like a glass table, and then like the dining room for some reason when they were rehearsing was always dark. I don't know why, but then there was the living room, so I would literally like Vietnam crawl under the table and stuff, and then just like lay there and like watch them practice and stuff because I was supposed to be doing math homework, but you know it was boring.
Were you good at math?
No, I hated it.
Same.
I get it though. It is a way to explain like the universe.
I don't get it. I mean, I understand the importance of it.
Yeah.
I wish I got it.
You know,
I don't get it.
I mean, look, so we all learn in different ways. We all, nah, that's not for me. But I love, like, I enjoy astrophysics. You know.
Okay.
I'm more like a visual and shapes and colors. That's me. You know, if you can explain math with shapes and I sound like a 2-year-old. If you can explain it with colors and shape and form, I'm with it. I'm there.
What do you love about astrophysics, and was it inspired by Pharrell's interest in it?
I mean, Pharrell was a catalyst to that in ways, like, but it was all encompassing. You know, like I was always into science when I was little. You know, in space, because I mean, you know, especially in South Central, like the houses are low, so at nighttime there's no like disruption of like this grand sky, and like there's no like light pollution, so you see all the stars. So I literally would just like late at night. And those would be the moments when my mom wouldn't know, but I would go outside late at night. And I'd just like stand in the front yard and just look up at the stars and be like, what the hell? You know? But like, it was crazy.
That's hilarious.
I think what I like most about astrophysics is like theorizing, like them talking about like light speed and like how you have to like literally bend time and space. So instead of like going like linear light speed, you had to just like make it convenient, take 2 different points, put it together. And that's how you get from here to like Andromeda or something.
I'm learning.
Nerd now, man.
Yeah. Before we move on from talking about your family, what you mentioned gospel music as an inspiration from your mom. What sounds and inspiration did you pull from your father or any other family members? You mentioned gospel already from your mom.
It was just like an all-encompassing inspiration. I don't know if there's anything particular from my dad. Besides the smell of weed when I was younger.
Oh, interesting.
And I know what the hell weed smelled like. I just knew that when I got to college, everybody smelled like my dad. He's like, why everybody smell like my dad? But it's like, oh, that's weed. Like, oh, okay.
But you mentioned though, you watched his band rehearse.
Yeah.
What kind of music did he
Gospel.
Play? Oh, okay. So gospel was a centerpiece.
That was a centerpiece.
Okay.
But then like he'll be listening to like reggae on the side.
I love that.
He had this whole like secret life of like at one side like he was a gospel God-fearing man, you know, playing keys with a Jerry curl, you know what I'm saying? I always gotta put that detail in there. But then like he had this secret life where he was like Rastafarian and he was listening to like reggae all the time and like smoking weed.
I love it.
It's crazy. But you can't be Rastafarian with Jerry curls. The whole chemical thing goes against it goes against the Rastafarian way.
I should ask your dad the earlier question about if he lived 2 lives.
You know what? We just realized this together.
We did.
Yeah. Totally living 2 different lives.
That's wild. Shout out Pops though.
Maybe
not. Okay. I was shout out my Pops. That's what it was.
Shout out your Pops.
Yeah. You know, we're gonna move on, but What was some of the biggest lessons? I've heard you say in previous conversations and interviews that Black women are such a important part of your life and have molded you and shaped you and keep you in check oftentimes. But specifically your mother, I want to ask about what are some of the biggest lessons you learned from her?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. The reason why Dad didn't get the shout out because Dad dipped at 8. So, my mom, my sister, my mom's friends, my mom's auntie, my aunties, not my mom's aunties, but my aunties, people at her job, like they all like raised me, you know, and I learned so much. I learned like empathy at a very young age and like what emotions look like. And like, you know, just caring for like Black women. You know, you care for a Black woman gonna care for you. Like, well, actually, nah. Black women gonna care for you automatically. Like general principle, GP, they always gonna care. You know, so if you do the same for them, then it's just like it's a pretty good life. It's a pretty good life. So like like my manager, Black woman. You know what I'm saying? My tour manager is a woman. It's my PR. Like it's always like that. That's how like the circle is. But they've definitely and like when I was in college. My mom used to tell me that she was in a prayer group, or yeah, not team, but yeah, it's a prayer group. But it'd be like 5 women, and they were always like praying for like all the kids in college, and they'll like have a moment they'll pray for me. And I felt like that protection was on my life because I was doing crazy ass shit in San Francisco, like bombing hills, like with a laptop in my hand, like sometimes going and like incoming, like yeah, I was doing the most. But like those hills in San Francisco are insane.
Yeah.
But I was like the fact that I was able to just like not die.
That was mom's prayer.
That was mama's prayers, yo. I literally feel like those hands of protection was on my life, like constantly. Still, like even to this day.
I love that.
To this day. Sorry.
To this day. Let's fast forward. We talked a little bit about South Central. I want to fast forward to Morningside High in Inglewood. Listening to Outkast, Bombs Over Baghdad. Listening to Breakout, NERD. What do you remember from those years in high school? Are there any important moments that come to mind that kind of shaped you as an individual or as an artist?
So maybe I told you about the prayer team. That prayer team been going on for a minute. So funny little story. My mom worked in the gift industry. She worked at California Mart, and that's like they'll have like it's like furniture, clothes, and stuff like that. On the 4th floor, they will have like the streetwear level and stuff. And at that time, they had Snoop Dogg clothing on that floor, and like I would literally go from like store to not store, but like they're doing wholesale, so I go from office to office trying to get a job and stuff. And like at that moment, I got a job at Snoop Dogg Clothing SDC, and like I mean, you know, Snoop Dogg big crippin', so it's like everything is like baby blue or like dark blue or something like that, and he would put SDC on it, and then I went to Morningside High School, which is an all blood school. And all the clothing I had was SDC.
Wow.
Baby blue. So, your boy, it was a really terrible, grand mistake. You know, I stood out like a sore thumb, you know? And then, like, I just got pressed.
You stood out like a Crip in a Bloods high school.
Like a Crip. But I was not even given, like, cripping. Like, I was such a nerd, bro. Like, it just, like, who was this nerd walking around with SDC? Like, get him out of here. But, like, they pressed, bro. I got pressed so many times. There's a dude named Xavier TV. He's the funniest like South Central dude ever on Instagram. But he does like press or pass, like, and it's just like the dudes that get pressed. It's dudes that look like they bang and stuff like that due to certain like clothing elements, and the dudes that pass, they probably like they don't look like it or they look like marks or something like. So they just like I would have gotten the extreme pass. I look like a mark, like full mark, but like or weirdo. But like they pressed the hell out of me, yo. It was crazy. I remember one time I had to this one blood. He was like doing a little handshake, and I was like, hey man, you know I'm banging on. So, and I was like, and I was like, I'm cool. And he was like, "What'd you say?" I was like, "Bro, I don't bang, bro. I'm good." And he was always, I was like, "I don't bang, cuz." I didn't say cuz, but I said, "I don't bang." And then he was like, "All right, blood." And then he like, I'm giving you all of it. So then he walked off, and then it's like almost, like, come on, bro. And so it's almost lunchtime, and then we were not caring about school during that time. So like we was like playing card games like before lunch started and stuff. So lunchtime happens. We playing cards with I'm playing cards with the homies, and the other homie come in, and he like, "Do not go outside. Do not leave these doors." I'm like, "What you talking about, bro?" He was like, "Every blood in the high school is waiting outside these doors to beat your ass." And I'm like, "What? What the hell happened?" He was like, "You." He said that you called him a slob.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and if anybody doesn't know, the way to diss a blood is calling him a slob. I don't know the origins of it, but he said that I called him a slob. So every blood in high school. So I had to literally get escorted outside of that, out of that class by police.
Wow.
Yeah. My high school morning, it was terrible, bro.
Shout out to the prayer.
Shout out to the prayer team. So then same dude, week later, he was like, "Oh, you thought you was gonna escape blood?" So he was like, "You gotta fight me right now." Like, hey. So like, I'm like, all right. Like, I had no hands. I had none, bro. Like, none. Like, no type of formal training. So
no type of formal training.
Oh, bro, I had no hands. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm about to just get my ass beaten. I'm about to go home. So I'm like, everybody's like crowding around because, you know, they heard about this whole situation. So it's like a whole circle of humans and stuff. And this is like angry blood member. And he's like ready to fight me. And like, bruh, this literally happened on God, on me, on everything. This shit happened. Time kind of stops, bruh. And maybe when you scared, time stops. But like time slowed down. And then like the circle of humans I was around, it literally, they opened up. And then like something said, it was like some Moses shit.
I was just thinking Moses. That's wild.
Someone was just like, walk through. And I walked through, bruh.
Who told you to walk through?
God. God told me to walk through. Oh, everything that's happened.
You just left the fight?
I just left the fight. I left the fight. I didn't have to fight him. I don't understand to this day. He had to be the prayer team or something, bruh, when I walked through. Like Moses, bruh.
That's wild.
Yo, the sea opened up. And then, bruh, forgot.
He forgot?
He just
like a time warp.
It was a time where he forgot, and then I started running track after that and stuff. So it's like, yeah.
I bet you did.
Oh, I did. But dog, like my high school experience was really crazy.
Wow.
And trippy.
But
the Moses, that's the part. That's the part that always stuck out to me.
You were channeling some of that astrophysics. You were.
But Neil deGrasse Tyson, he should do a study on this.
Yeah,
like,
really.
You know how to.
He's gonna look at it like the world at that moment and be like, there was a little blip.
There was a blip.
There was a little blip.
It was a full on blip. It was full on blip
in Inglewood. We gotta study that.
Yeah, bro,
you were the core of it.
Crazy. I was the core of it.
Wow. So chosen one duck.
Chosen one. Got up out that
young duckling.
Man, it would have been so bad for me.
Young Moses.
It would have been so bad for me. Like, I had no chunkums, bro. Like, nothing.
You probably wouldn't have been here, sitting here today with me.
Nah, man. Been gone. Thanos, bro. Just snap, dissipate, gone.
Well, I'm glad that you followed your gut there when the prayer team.
The prayer team
told you to just leave that fight.
Step through, my son.
Stepping over to the Bay Area.
I like you said stepped in.
You see what I did there?
I see what you did there.
You got out of LA as quickly as possible.
Immediately. Bro, there was nothing but gangbangers and jerkers, bro. Like,
jerkers.
For hella long, bro. It was gangbangers and jerkers. I was like, I'm done. I hate this.
Were you not jerking?
I was not jerking. I was skating, bro.
Okay.
And like skaters hated jerkers, bro. Like, we hated jerkers.
They all wore Vans though.
They did. They had like the skate. That's the thing. They had the skate style.
Yeah.
But like they just looked weird. They were weirdos, bro. Like they had like the little skinny yellow pants and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it was terrible.
You would have hated me. Moving on. What was it like to move to the Bay Area? Why did you choose the Bay? I know you went to school up there. Was that essentially why you chose the Bay, or were you looking at any other places to go?
Mainly, I just really like the whole psychedelic movement of San Francisco. I was listening to like Mad Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix and like Zeppelin, and I was finding out that they were all there, like having a great time. And also, I remember Academy of Arts came to LA and did a seminar, and like I was like, oh, this is amazing, like, and I was doing art at the time, so I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So I literally only put in one application for college, bro, one. And it was for Academy of Arts. And Mancy will tell you, like, they mail you back, like, probably a week later. And just like,
you got in.
How fast was yours, bro? They emailed you the same day. Like, you're in. Yeah. And that's what it is. Literally. The main, what was it? What would they call the president? What would they call her? She'd be like the president of the school, I guess, or something. The warden, whoever. The warden.
That's like
it's kind of intense.
It was intense.
But yeah, but like
the provost, I don't know.
But she, like, they made so much money off of us. Like they had, remember that random car museum that was like crazy, bro. Like, and they had the craziest, rarest of cars, but it was just there.
Yeah.
Just there, and it's like just so much money. So yeah, they was like, oh, more money? Yeah, come on.
Student loans were.
I think I did like 30,000.
Yeah.
50,000.
I did 100.
Damn, son.
I know.
I'm so sorry. Damn. Sometimes.
culturestudy.com/donations.
Oh God.
I'm playing. I went to school at the University of San Francisco.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh shit. That's
it was in the inner
USF.
Richmond, USF. Yeah. So they were charging a lot.
Yeah.
It was a great place to go to school, I think. But I guess just in terms of the Bay Area, I want to know like how the Bay to me doesn't get enough credit.
Mm-mm.
Like for creatives, for artists, there's so many amazing creatives that I met in the Bay that are from the Bay. They go hard for the Bay. How do you feel like you evolved and grew as an artist there?
I mean, well, in the Bay, you can kind of just, well, specifically in San Francisco, like you can just live as you imagine yourself to want to live. Like people would just be walking naked on Embarcadero and stuff, like just be turned up, just naked, just tits and dicks everywhere.
It was liberating.
For real, man. And it just like it was just wild. Like people existed on their own, like, in their own universes in San Francisco. So I was just like, well, shit. Like if they do what they do, I'm, do what I want to do and just create how exactly I want to create, no limits, and stuff. And just but in the Bay in general, people tend to just like they're more accepting of like creative people, creative humans.
I love that.
Yeah, that's why I took from it is like creative freedom.
So you mentioned there's a couple things previously in other conversations, but you didn't really want to pursue music until college, and it was until a moment where you created something with a friend, and it opened up and unlocked a world of kind of possibilities for you.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through that? Like, what was it that you created, and why did it shift your kind of like intuition in that direction?
What song was that? It was it was Super. It was that MF Doom one. What do you remember what that song was? Turn the bass to it, yeah, bro. Mancy's been there since the beginning, bro.
Can we get Mancy a mic?
Get a mic.
Just in case there's anything you need to add on.
No, literally, Mancy has been there like even before I was even rapping. He does because your Apple Music or your iTunes is like so expansive. Oh,
okay. Yeah. He's gonna stop real quick so we can add him.
Okay.
We were just talking about how Mancy's been a part of your life for a long time. Specifically, San Francisco is where you met. We're honored that he's actually here with us today. He was capturing some photos, hanging out, and now we have an intro from DUCKWRTH.
What are you doing?
For Mancy. Go ahead.
By day.
Oh my gosh.
One of the best photographers you ever meet. By night. Smooth player cat that will ever grace your universe. You understand what I'm saying? The man, the myth, Mancy Gant.
There it is. Oh, no, you're too kind. Thank you. Please sit down. Take a seat.
Let me fade it out.
You can be seated.
Fade out the music. He said, "Please be seated."
Please be seated. No.
So we were just talking about, first of all, Mancy, officially welcome. We should have had a mic on you the whole time. I'm sorry. But you actually remembered that song that DUCKWRTH just said changed his career and kind of unlocked this new world for him to pursue music. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about being on the other side of this and being homies with Duck, what that was like, and kind of seeing that evolution of, first of all, what was the song again?
Was it called Super? I think it's called Super. It was called Super.
Wow, that theme is consistent.
It's called Super, and it's
yeah. Oh, whoa. You see that connection you just made?
I thought that's why you were doing Super Good the whole time.
No.
Okay.
It's crazy.
I thought that was all
the first song I ever recorded was called Super. Wow.
All right, so Mancy, you just had a great intro, but yeah, walk us through. You said the song was called Super, so you were there on the other side, a friend of Duck's.
Yeah.
What was your perspective on everything as he was kind of starting to make this decision to pursue music, and you were actually there like at that beginning stage?
I don't know if it was ever I don't know if it was like that because we all met each other when we weren't doing anything that we're doing now. So when I met Duck, he was purely just like a design student. And then I was also a design student too. So we were just like, so when I met them, our commonality ended up being just our love for things like, NERD, clothing, stuff like that. Just like the regular stuff that you connect people in college. And then, so I met them my freshman year. I met him in and Reggie, who he's in the group with, Tokyo 24.
Mhm.
So when I heard they made music, I just had I heard the songs, but I had him like send me a song that I loved. He had this song called "Check My Denim," and they're just talking about literally denim the whole way through.
Wow.
He said he was in a verse. He says he's Target bound, Barney's New York, not Target found.
Wow.
He said an eye for design and an eye for women. He said eye for design and eye for women.
But you know what?
Take the mic away, man. Take the fucking mic away.
You wanted to talk about
it.
But you know
so
what?
You see how far back?
Yeah.
He was shouting out his design,
Mancy,
design student in his
we wanted to make a song called
his
Helvetica.
women, bro.
Helvetica?
Helvetica. We
Wow.
literally wanted to make a song called Helvetica. We were gross.
But you know what?
Addicted to design.
In a wild and interesting way, it spoke to you, Mancy.
No, I mean, no, the beat was incredible. The song was tight.
Yeah.
I have that song somewhere, but I can't find it right now.
It's the craziest archive. A good amount of my music.
That's fire.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I think is super dope and maybe some good context for people as well is y'all have a great relationship. We saw the handshake a little bit earlier, but y'all also collaborate. You Mancy, you shoot a lot of Duck. Have you shot any covers or anything like that, or any singles or anything?
Yeah, a bunch.
Yeah, I didn't want to ask and then it'd be a no.
Yeah, pretty much every cover except I want to say super good. Yeah. Outside of that, every cover is shot by me.
Yeah.
So what's it like as someone who knows him, as someone who knows Duck very well? What are you pulling in terms of like the inspiration for shoots, and how are you capturing, what it is that you want to capture?
I don't know. I think our art imitates life. Every time we come to it, when we make it, it's kind of at the place we're at currently. So even videos I've done, it's like it just kind of matches where we are currently in our life. I kind of pull from my own experiences, and it just matches up like that. So most of the time, it's like, yeah, wherever we are in the current time, and we whatever the inspirations are like pulling from. I know when I did like when I did the I'm Ugly cover, it was like.
It's a great cover, by the way.
I think we were into like that greaser look, so there was like a lot of pull from there. But then I was also into the Snoop, like the spotlight type look. And then when it came to extra ugly, it was more inspired by like even like the beat, like the photos that weren't in the album cover. I was kind of more inspired by just kind of like photorealism, editorial style, like documentary. So some of the photos that weren't actually covered were kind of more in that vein of it. So it's kind of just wherever we were at, both, just creatively in life.
And you often seem to be on the same page with a lot of that. I mean, you obviously are very different people as well and have very different interests, but you have a lot that ties you together, which I think is really special.
Yeah.
That's dope. Last thing I want to talk about in the Bay is Team Backpack Ciphers. That was how you were discovered. Walk me through a cipher.
Yeah, I mean, it was tight. It was like one of the best things happening in the Bay at that moment. It was just like a bunch of rappers around a mic like this. And
it's kind of like we are all right now.
Yeah,
right?
you know what I'm saying? Big cipher. You feel me? But yeah, we were all just rapping. But they all kind of like had a Bay Area, I guess, type like style. And I came in and like I was listening to like Mad Outkast. So I came through with like the locks and like this like, fedora. And like in the blue blazer. And I was like
you said locks in a fedora.
Locks in a fedora.
Do some poetry up there.
You feel me? You know, I was gonna burn some
Julia
some
Rob Hertz.
Queen. What I say Jean-Paul Duckworth, bonjour I am for the future, you have seen what I saw. So the weapons I withdraw. I'm shining, not because the diamonds are on the next to me, because I don't believe in that Sierra Leone therapy, killing African surely just to create a clarity. Fatty cake, because you were like a walking. So I was like, it was something. But yeah, but I came through, but I ain't gonna lie, I came through busting. I saw that shit like 2 months ago. I came through busting. Ain't nobody was on my shit.
Yeah.
So I came through, and it was like, he's crazy. But it was tight.
So what did that do for you? The exposure, like how did that kind of move you into the next step of your career and get you discovered in a sense?
I met my, I thought I met my manager through that. She found me because of this song called Hoverboard with my homie, with Dragon. It's another brother, another Dragon brother, another Taurus Dragon brother. But she found me through that. But then she was convinced when she was watching the Team Backpack Ciphers, and like they're moving. The numbers on that was like moving. So I was getting hit from like left and right, different places.
I love it.
And like being able to be on different like online publications because of that.
Yeah. So you were just getting placements, and that's kind of started things off as well.
Yeah, it added to it for sure.
Yeah.
And
That's
like
dope.
a lot of people, even like the current producer I'm working with, Wave IQ, he remembered me from Team Backpack Cyphers. He was watching it back in the day, and I was just that dude that stood out with my fedora. And
maybe that's why you stood out.
This is fedora.
That was part of it.
It was like heavy hipster. It was like early hipster, like like chest hairs and like leather jackets and stuff like that. I mean, I guess I am still a bit chest hair and leather jacket. Huh? Yeah. Some things don't change.
Mancy's face.
What are you talking about, bro? You still there? But it was definitely like early Urban Outfitters. It was giving that for sure. Like early. Like,
I hated that.
Oh, it was so bad. At least I wasn't V-necks. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you really would have hated me for sure. We would have walked past each other.
So you had V-necks and like yellow, like little jerker pants.
I didn't have yellow jerker pants.
You had little skinny yellow jerker pants and V-necks.
That couldn't fit. I played soccer. They never fit. The skinny jeans never fit me.
Games, bro.
Yeah, when I met Duck, he had a paw hanging off of his back pocket, so he can't roast you.
So I was very much
paw,
into Japanese
like
culture.
paw.
He needs to break it down.
Tell him about the paw.
So I was very heavy into Japanese culture via like Lupe Fiasco. Always talking about Japanese culture and Pharrell and stuff. So I was just like, all right, cool. Let me find my way in it. And there was these things called gloomy bears. And gloomy bears were like these like kawaii bears, but they were like vicious and they would like attack humans and stuff. And like they would have different like accessories. So one of their accessories is this furry like bear paw with like little plastic claws and like blood on the tips and stuff. So like I would wear, don't freak out the blood on the tips though. It was actually a really nice piece. So I would like, some people would walk around with like the stupid little raccoon tails or whatever the fuck that was and stuff. But like I was like, nah, I'm different. I'm gonna wear a gloomy bear paw on my side and stuff, bro.
That was the first time y'all met.
And that was the first time we met.
For sure had a paw on.
For sure had a paw.
He had a paw, a flannel, and a V-neck.
Wow.
I have the photo of the V-neck too.
You calling people out.
I have that photo.
I did not have a V-neck,
I have the photo of you with the V-neck on.
I need that photo because I do not remember it. I do not remember the V-neck. I did have a couple V-necks, but it was.
No. We were at Barney's. Oh my gosh. No, we had Bloomingdale's. Because we would go there after school every day. He had this girlfriend at the time that would like buy him designer clothes all the time.
Wow.
So we would meet up.
She was like Satan.
Yeah, you don't get something for nothing. But
exactly.
We would meet up after school or whatever, like in college, and then we'd be at Bloomingdale's, and I have a photo of him in the mirror with the flannel V-neck.
I don't remember.
It might be that poor paw on the side of him.
We have a kind fellow next to us named Isaac who's helping us with the audio, and he's just watching Duck just change up his words back and forth, talking smack about V-necks.
I don't know about this. I did have V-necks, but it was like a very quick moment.
It's like that Rick James interview.
He lied in real time.
I did not, bro. We all had V-necks, but
I hated V-necks. You had a V-neck. I mean, I hate V-necks.
But I did hate V-necks. No, I did hate V-necks, truthfully. But it's like, because mine, if I did have a V-neck, it was a small V-neck. It wasn't a plunging, like showing your belly button V-neck.
Nobody had
Nobody had that.
Yeah. Nobody had it.
The American Apparel original V-necks, bro, they were plunging.
Wow, man. Duck saying he don't like R&B, bro. You don't like R&B?
Yeah.
You talking about, bro?
You talking about on V-necks like you don't like R&B? That's R&B.
Nah. R&B is no neck. You just gotta have just your chest out. You feel me? Wow. You feel? If it was R&B, I'd be flannel, nothing under, just gold chains, and sex.
I feel like we should all start a podcast because I feel like this is actually
Oh God!
This is cool.
About Duck just redacting all the statements because he actually had all that. Like, I don't like V-necks. I mean, I had a V-neck.
I
hate V-necks. I mean, I
did hate them.
Well, see, that's the value of having Mancy here because he could call you out on everything.
Bro, I was there, bro.
All the claims. He's a fact checker.
I was there, man. Look.
I had one or two, bro.
Nobody's exempt from looking crazy. We all look crazy.
We all look crazy. No, I didn't look crazy. I had a gloomy bear, so thank you. I had my paw.
I want to ask you something. Actually, Mancy, I want to bring you into this too. What's one of your favorite songs that Duck has created?
It's probably something unreleased.
It might be something unreleased.
Yeah. Okay, something released, something that fans would be able to connect to. I'll tell you some of mine. One is, I think the first song I heard from you, Duckworth, was Red Panther. A long time ago.
You remind me of the rainforest. You so
jungle vibes. Yeah. That was such a cool track, and also just knowing Red Panther, Paolo, that whole connection. I just thought it was a great way to tell that story too.
Yeah, very much so.
So that's one of my favorites from back in the day. I love Crush. I love 4K.
Oh, you like Crush a lot. I remember that.
Yeah,
Crush
I pushed for Crush, y'all.
He pushed for Crush.
Really?
Boy,
hard.
Crush,
He was like, "That's your one."
it
bruh.
was never gonna come out. He
Crush
was
felt
gonna
like
come out.
it felt like
oh my God, here we go again.
felt NERD-ish.
The lies, and that's for the reason he was like, "Man, it feels like NERD." I said, "It
that
feels
wasn't
good,
the one. I
bro."
didn't mind it. I liked it. I thought it was crazy. It just
I
was slow.
begged for that to happen.
I was slow with releasing it.
I
And
begged.
he was like, "Bruh," and he would every time I go to his apartment, he'd be like,
I called him. I talked to him on the phone for like 3 hours straight, trying to get him to release that one. Day. I was like,
Wow.
"Bro, you got to put that out. Like, that has to be in the
Okay,
world."
so let me ask you something then, because Crush will be maybe one that you really like.
No, I really like that song. It's a bunch of songs that like probably are unreleased, but I think the songs I like from Duck most are the songs where it feels like he's being like where there's like a strip of like it's just straight honesty, and you kind of feel like this true thing, because there are songs he makes where I feel like I know he's trying to construct it. Then there's songs where it seems like he's just like kind of breathing over it, and those are the ones I really enjoy. And I think that's like a lot of the new stuff that's coming out that he's making. It's like it feels like that where he's just like
What's
like
an example?
true and flush, but like I liked Mansions a lot. It was on like where he was just like where he was just freestyling. He was just talking shit too, and it was the whole time he was just feeling like a man, and he was just going. It was just like, and it felt just super like fresh and open, you know.
Yeah.
I forgot about Mansion.
Okay, so with that being said, thank you, Mancy. Walk me through your creative process a little bit with Mansions. What was the story? What are you kind of channeling when you're crafting that in the studio?
I was just like finally moving like back to LA. Like I was back and forth, but I think I was just getting comfortable with being in LA. I met Channel Tres. I met August 08. At that time he was August Grant. And just like we were creating like a cool little collective of like friends who were just making good music. And like we were getting like love, but it was always like a ceiling, because we were just the different dudes, we were just different, I guess, best way to put it. And I was like, what does it take? You know what I'm saying? Like we were going, we were always recording at Paramount. Was it Paramount? I feel like it was Paramount Studios in Hollywood. And like we'll be in sessions like with like Wale and who else, and like Wiz Khalifa and stuff. And like mainly like August was like writing and stuff. And I'll just be there, and I'm just seeing all this crazy stuff, all the celebrity stuff, and like I guess I was freshly in that whole scene, and I'm like, damn, like what's it gonna take, So Mansion Freestyle was pretty much like asking the question, like what I gotta do to like get the mansion. I don't remember all the words, but I was busting in that thing.
It was free. I think that might be kind of an implication of how good it was. He doesn't remember the words. It was just like he was just talking. You know?
And that was the only song on there.
I think of another song where it's like where I felt that freeness. I like Super Bounce a lot. Super Bounce is like
Bounce is great.
I like. I don't know. Doug could tell you. I've been telling him maybe before he started doing. I was like, yo, you gotta. All right, I'm gonna give you a backstory so you understand where this came from. Me and him would walk around San Francisco and just sing out loud. We be singing. We be like singing NERD songs, like Laser Gun. We'd just be singing like unreleased ones and just all these different songs. But I was telling him, I said, look, you have to, because he would be more like rap based and focused. I was like, you have to sing. You should sing on the songs. Like you should really sing and harmonize, let people hear you. So songs where he's going between the two, I think I enjoy those a lot. Because then those are like free too. Because there's something about the expression of like, you can't fake that.
Yeah.
You can't stretch out fake words. You know what I mean? Like he's trying to, like he's really, like there's a feeling that's been evoked. And I think I enjoy those songs the most where he's like saying, where he's going in between the two, where he's harmonizing and also putting out words. So I think that's why I enjoy Super Brown so much. Because he starts harmonizing, he's harmonizing the words out. Yeah. And then
riding in the chariot.
I like Trickin'. I love that interlude. Trickin' is a fun interlude. Money Dance is a great song.
I think there's some good ones.
It's like that album is like I feel like that was a coming.
By the way, I'm Dead is a great track.
Yeah, incredible. I remember when I first heard that was nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Sabrina.
Super dope.
We were tripping out.
Yeah, I remember that one.
I think there's
that was
just
Sabrina's track actually.
Oh wow.
Sabrina, she gave it to me.
Wow.
There's just a push for high
Sabrina
vibrational
Claudio.
music,
Yeah.
Like high vibrational music is really where it's at. Like you can only stay at a low frequency for so long. You are what you are your words. The words are powerful, and the space you think of yourself in, and that you put yourself in, is where you stay and where you fester. So things that are high vibration will always kind of have a more of a grip and a pull.
I think I just think it's wild that I never got an invite to go sing with y'all when you were walking down the streets in San Francisco.
Were you in it? What year were you out there?
Y'all knew I was there.
He was working at Brooklyn Circus, bro.
You see, but I mean, you wasn't there when we was like. What, you wasn't there at that time. Then.
2011 to
yeah. By that time, I was already 21. We was partying, bro. We was already outside.
But
partying.
we was out. But we was walking.
I think you was already out of. You was already out of Academy.
2011.
Yeah, you was done with Academy.
Yeah, but I was still running around though.
Yeah.
He was totally, because I would be in like the Fillmore. Because it was right by Japantown.
That's right.
We would come there sometimes. We would be there, and we would. What's the other homie that worked there?
Eric or something like, or Aaron or something like that. You talking about
Calvin?
Bigger.
Calvin.
Calvin.
Yeah, Calvin.
Calvin.
Earl.
You talking about Calvin? George?
Earl. Yeah, Earl.
No, Earl is hilarious.
Seth worked at BKC as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then so I would see. Yeah, but I don't think we were venturing to Fillmore that much.
How old are you, Mancy?
I'm 32.
Okay, you're 30. Can I guess?
Let them guess, bro.
Okay. I'm 29.
It's the mystery.
Yeah,
well, maybe I'm a few
Cool age,
years,
bro.
Cool age.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Not with chronic muscle spasms.
It's just what everybody just won't let you be 29. Are you 30?
Yeah,
they won't just allow you to be 29. You just become 30, bro.
Yeah.
30.
People don't allow me to be in my 30s. People always think I'm like 25 or something.
Yeah.
You act 29.
Yeah, I be bouncing off the wall, so I get it.
Yeah.
This beard gives me a little bit older.
Yeah.
I turned 30 in lockdown, so I don't know. I didn't really get to feel.
I'm sorry.
30. It just felt like 29 still.
You just been living 29 now, for the past 3 years.
I never had an official 30th. You know what I mean? None of that.
It's all good.
That sounds like we got to throw something for him.
The 30 part. We got a 30
Mancy's
official,
30.
Like, Mancy's 30.
You gotta call it 30 squared.
30 squared, bro.
plus 2.
Yeah, we get that party. It's like when everybody disappeared. I'm such a nerd. I'm about to reference Marvel. But when everybody disappeared for 5 years after the Thanos snap, and then they all came back.
Yeah, do they age? Did it count?
They didn't age.
But technically, they should be older, right?
Technically, they should be older, but they didn't.
So when they celebrate a birthday, do they celebrate the 5 year later birthday? Or are they like...
like they continue where they left off?
I don't think they wrote that in the script yet.
They didn't.
So, but I feel like if you come back 5 years later, you're like, oh, well, I guess I'm this age now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, facts. So I'm like, damn, I'm just older.
You could,
shit, but looking young and great.
Sounds like Mancy's still 30, though, to me.
Sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So,
the Thanos. It's the Thanos thing.
That's probably what happened, yeah.
Yeah, you deserve to get your...
The pandemic happened, and then that was Thanos, yeah.
Yeah, like literally.
I love that. So let's talk. Sense. We're taking promoters, all that. Come reach out. We're gonna throw Mancy a 30 square.
A 30 square.
Thanos can't come.
I have another question for you. I feel like we have a lot to talk about, but I'm enjoying the conversation a lot. But how do you we're talking about you finding your voice as an artist. Talking about you kind of like we just mentioned a couple songs that really spoke to Mancy, that spoke to you, some that spoke to me. Is there like a pivotal moment that you remember that you could look back on where you feel like you found your voice, or it kind of like affirmed or reaffirmed that you were on the right track?
Michael.
The song Michael.
Or some people would like to call Michel. Because I spelled it
because you spelled it Michul.
So the whole thing is I was calling the song Michael Jackson, but I was on was I on Republic at that time? I don't know. It was something like that. So I couldn't refer to Michael Jackson because of Michael Jackson's estate. So I was like, well, let me just call it Michael. He's like, you can't call it that either. Like, what the fuck? I couldn't like have anything that's associated to Michael. And I had this whole like UU thing going on for a minute with like I'm ugly and like how'd you do this UU thing. So I was like, all right, cool, let me put it in the spelling.
You're talking about in the spelling of everything, yeah.
UUs. So I was like, all right, cool, I just call this like Michael, but use like 2 U's. But people still today be like, oh, I love your song Michelle or Michul or something like that.
So what was it in that moment in that song or in the reception of it that reaffirmed? Like what was it? Why was that a turning point for you?
I think it was my first taste of like doing something that was like more like pop dance, you know, and that's what that song was. It was pop dance, like for real. And the reaction from that. First of all, I got so many syncs that year. I made so much money, like off of just straight like syncs, bro. On God, like just syncs, and I was like doing a lot of my like shows and festivals I was doing at that time was because of like Michael.
What year was that?
That was 2018 or 2017, something like that. It was like 2017, 2018. But yeah, man, Michael, that did it. And then yeah, it made me comfortable in that whole pocket and stuff. And then the video too was like really cheeky and like dorky and stuff. But like people love that shit.
Yeah. I think what I really enjoy in the one, I mean on social, that's one thing. I feel like you're hilarious. But on even in your,
you think I'm hilarious on social?
I think you're funny on social.
That's
there's a video you put out where it was like when you got like a migraine.
Yeah.
And it was just the drummer warming up.
I remember
And he
that.
just kept zooming in on your eye. Like,
man.
I think that's just you being you, and I think it's funny. But you also incorporate humor into some of your videos. I think of the 4K video where the director is just like pissed at you the whole time.
Yeah.
And just like so mad at how you're doing, and like how what a horrible job you're doing, acting and all that. But it's just funny. It's like you have good storylines, and they're some of them are lighthearted and funny. So one of the many things I appreciate about you.
I appreciate it.
We talking about we spoken about your music, but I guess I want to know where you're kind of headed sonically. Like where do you just mentioned kind of that future earlier. We were talking about that infinity loop. You're talking about future. So is that? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, like I said, I'm going past that intersection of present and pushing towards something. But I guess I'm just looking to create something new. I think a lot of times we always emulate like who's before us and what's familiar to us. I would like to go into a area of just something that is brand new. Like we haven't had a new genre really pop off. I mean, we have like subgenres like drill and like other when it comes to, or even trap, But like there hasn't been something new that's come about. And I don't know if I'm the person to make it, but I at least want to try to make something like that. It's kind of like inventing a new color in that sense, And in my mind, like there is a way to make it, So I'm on that journey right now, and a lot of it is just like stripping down a lot. What I usually like, I'm a maximalist when it comes to music and writing and stuff, and I'm just finding ways to just like let the vocals breathe, finding ways to like not stack hella vocals, but just like have one strong middle. And Drake helped me out with that. Listening to Drake, and he would literally just have like one vocal down the middle the whole way through, and the song is like buzzing, So I'm just like, damn, I guess you can do that,
What's an example of like one of his tracks that was that for you?
Lace still drill, dialed up, damn, I'm right with you. Damn.
Oh wow,
How'd that go?
It's Madonna.
Yeah.
But a lot of his music's like that. He just be just in there one. So, I mean, but just using that as more an example of being able to just strip it, and then even like production, like take away the snare, take away this, take away that, and like using other like sounds to like give you like a kick. I mean, a snare feel, or give you a percussive feel, So, I'm figuring it out.
Cool.
Hopefully in like the next 2 years, it'll be like manifested,
I love that. Yeah, I feel like it's coming. Naturally, I feel like you're ahead of what's already happening. So I think that people are now starting to ride. Like there's this moment where people are starting to ride what's hot, which is turning into this house, thing that's happening. You've already done that. Not to say that you won't continue to do it, but you're already looking for what's next before this even fully pops off. So I think that's cool to see. You study graphic design. You mentioned that in school. Tell me about Super Goods, the brand, and kind of where you see that going as well.
So actually, Super Good was an album that I already made back in 2012. It's like 23 songs, and they will never ever see the light of day.
Oh, so is that not the name of the brand?
So the name of the brand is Super Good, but I've been having the idea of Super Good since 2012.
Oh, okay.
Or 2013.
So you're just announcing that you have unreleased music.
I produced the whole project, like a whole album.
Why didn't you release it?
It was just too ahead. It was too future, And it was like also vocally, like I wasn't like I'm way better now than I was before. So when I hear it, I'd be like, oh, like this is the developing version of me. But I just think the production wise. But remember that one song? It was like MNFT or something like that. It was like I forgot. It was like something
Mother Nature, Father Time.
Mother Nature, Father Time. That shit was crazy.
Great title.
And yeah, I was really like getting in my bag of just like future sound. But like I said, it was too ahead, so I just scrapped it. But I always wanted to make a project that felt like it was like a step ahead. So you have it?
Yeah.
Wow. Hold on. Should I play this?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. So
put it on the mic.
MNFT, Mother Nature, Father Time. I produced this, and I'm not gonna play a lot of it, but this is crazy. Is it?
Put it closer.
Yeah, put it closer.
So many plans in my head, but saying life outside of Earth is impossible. I disagree instead. I choose to share dialogue with them all. Am I crazy? It's possible. You see, I may be extra. With my celestial. Papa call it celestial. All the time calls it infinity. All room service visiting me. Pressure hotel party just like you kidding me. And we the permanent type you can't get rid of. We when you're conscious. Spiritual high from the lyric supply. Roll the die lucky 7 night in heavens divide. Twice 11 till the reverend night demand a reply. 9/11 every time I grill it turn a rhyme. Spin a diamond park my ship my parking meters legit. Park my ring up on the pinky that resembles a pimp. But I hate the furry hats and I prefer not to limp. Unless I sprain my ankle trying to do a 360 flip. My skater friends are saying trade. My British friends are saying good day. And every day's a holiday, so treat the present like the present. The past is a gas and I'm speeding past the heavens. I covered it with the phone, get 808 up in your trunk. The dinky is a skunk of purple haze and get you stuck until you caught up in the gaze with a shaman and a monk. Got you caught up in the maze of pants slapping with the front. Spaz out trash, my figures your mama with that junk. Mother Nature and Father Time.
Drop the headphones and shit. So, this is what I was on at that moment. That's crazy that you have this, bro.
It's just in my what's the name? iTunes Match.
Yeah.
It's just in my iTunes Match.
That's why.
That's crazy, bro. I haven't even heard that song.
That's a great track.
It was tight. I was
cool.
just about it. I remember being hella juiced. I was like, bro, this is tight. I was like, you gotta put this out. Like,
Yeah.
Isaac, what'd you think of that song?
It was good.
Yeah, see?
I liked it.
It's okay. You don't have to.
you could be honest, bro. You can say that shit was weak.
It's never coming out.
He said that was weak.
He said, it's a song, you know.
It's a song. It's a song.
It's not goes a song. Yeah,
It's something together.
I love it.
couple
No,
words, couple music.
Yo, it's hilarious.
I appreciate you. I don't even know where I was going with that after this. You just took me
okay.
into
So
it.
yeah. So I wanted to. Super Good has been a name that's stuck with me for so long, and I knew how important it was. And then when 2019 came, I was like, I'm going to release Super Good. I'm going to release Super Good finally. And like Super Good was always the destination.
The album.
Yes, the album. I was like, that's always the destination. I always wanted to just make that body of work. So I did it, and I wrote Super Good in like a month, in LA, and then from there I was just like, you know what, it'd be sick to like, make some pieces, make some clothes that say Super Good. But then like I created the logo, and I was like, damn, like why does it feel like this is it? This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Mm. So I don't know. It kind of just transitioned into a garment brand that's still like evolving and stuff, but Super Good is something. And now Super Good has evolved into I want it to be a creative studio. So eventually it'll be Super Good Creative Studios. And then from there I'm gonna do I'm gonna have like it's gonna be like a animation house and like POC stories and stuff, but like for kids. Also just like design is gonna be a part of it. Also architecture. So a full on creative studio, but it'll be called Super Good. So I don't know. Like I said, that name has stuck with me for so long, and it's been just so important to me.
What does the name mean to you? Super Good.
It's simple. It's a affirmation of like, I guess, positivity in a sense. Like the name Super Good, like it. Every time I heard it, it'll make me feel good. Even with like the album, when I made it, I was like, I want something where when you press play, you feel super good. And we had to drop it, even though like COVID was happening, the pandemic was happening. I felt like I need to drop this because people at this time need to feel super good.
Yeah. You said something that I really like. You said it was you wanted to be like a light in the darkness with the music that you put out for specifically for Super Good. That was what, August 2020.
Yeah,
so
August 2020.
People were settling into everything that was happening. I love that. And also I get kind of like PG Lang vibes by what you're referring to as well in terms of building something out that's beyond just the music, right? Like you're building an entire ecosystem of creativity. Yeah, I think that's really cool. Not trying to compare, but I just that's what I thought of.
Got you.
We cut that out.
No, it's all good. I mean, like, no, much respect and everything. For me, I wanted to even go beyond.
You want to push that
the music, like it being a designer. You know, like I want it to be, like I said, architecture. Right. And like rethink a lot of different things. So,
I love that.
So all good.
Do you have any interesting stories with the jewelry you're wearing right now? Or just pieces of clothes that are meaningful to you? I know there's probably a lot.
This beaded choker, I've had it for a long time. And it's a replacement to the other beaded choker that I had before that. I just had to get a shorter one because I had a longer one. And like when I perform, it always keeps smacking me in the face. It smacked me in the tooth one time. And I can't do this. So
why is that an important piece of jewelry?
It's like beaded, like these beaded type of chokers. It's like from the punk scene and stuff. Like it's like a staple and like punk aesthetic. So no matter how far I go, no matter how R&B my music gets, I always like something about me remains to be punk in that sense.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Something like that, and it looks good. You know what I'm saying? Like it goes with everything. So,
We're gonna move on. I want to be mindful of time because I think there's just so much to digest and so much to talk about. But the interesting thing, I actually want to pivot into mental health a little bit. The interesting thing about being an artist is that oftentimes, in order for it to be sustainable, it has to be financially successful, or to even be considered a successful artist, you have to have, like, I feel like fame kind of coincides with that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious about how your success as an artist has really affected your mental health as it pertains to fame and kind of that growth.
I think for me, my human has to be as healthy as my career. And for so long, my career, the more I gain like notoriety and like mainly just like being able to tour and eat and live off of the music, like that's become like my forefront. And I didn't really take time to build my human, and and it's unbalanced. But the unbalance has created an unhealthiness, and even in my mental. And it's to a point now where it's like it is imperative for my human to like get to the same level as like my creativity in my career and everything. So like right now I'm really pushing on routine, like because music, you don't need to have a routine. Like you just be in the studio till all hours of the night, go home at like 3-4 in the morning, wake up at 12 or whatever the fuck. And it's just like that's not healthy, at all. And also because music is so judgment based. Art is judgment based, so it's always that your success is based upon how people feel about it. So it's like I didn't come into art or music like giving a fuck about what people thought about it. I did it because I loved it, and that's what musicians and artists are. It's like we create our worlds and we invite you into it. It's not like creating a world for you, so. And I learned that through a jazz player, but it's what was I going with that? Oh, okay. So damn, what was
you
I
were
going
talking
with
about taking care of your mental, your human side.
Yeah. So pretty much within that, I just have to just go back to the beginning. I have to add routine to my life, and that's just waking up in the morning, like stretching, like meditating, maybe do a couple push-up, couple sit-ups, go in the kitchen, make me a little fruit bowl or something like that, conditioning my beard, but I have to do this every single day. I have to meditate like every single day, maybe go to like the gym or something, and not being on my phone, not waking up and going straight to my phone, because that's the worst thing you can do for your mental health is going straight to your damn phone. So I have to have that quiet time, allow my like brain to process and allow my inner to like kind of, be my outer.
Yeah. I was actually just going to ask about your relationship with social media and how that affects you. And you kind of just hit it on the nose.
Yeah, I hate it.
Not being on your phone, being away from it as much as possible.
Yeah, man. Like we give so much to like these LCD screens and stuff, and they give, a lot to us, but it's unhealthy in a certain sense because we're very much still humans at the end of the day. We're not clockwork. We're not like chips, and we require a different job, and that's the thing about this phone. This phone will break, but like my body is constantly regenerating. It's like such a grand difference between nature and human and like technology. And like as of the moment, we're giving so much to technology and we're not giving so much to ourselves. And like, I have this whole conspiracy that like with social networks, like it's all going to like this AI. Like we literally put so much into like on Twitter. There's so many emotions and so much, dynamics of a human being and a human existence that you can just really like put that AI can download that and really understand the whole human experience.
Yeah.
It's conspiracy, but
no, I just heard about this Google engineer who was fired because he basically said that, I'm going to misquote this, but he basically was talking about the brilliance of the AI that they've created and how it basically is fully functioning as like a third grader or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
With emotion, with like, and he basically spoke out against it, and I think he got fired.
Damn.
So I don't think that's a conspiracy.
And then we have so many movies that like are talking about like the end of the world via like robots. So I mean, not just robots, but just like we just give so much to technology.
That Black Mirror
you know.
type of. Yeah.
But and like the thing is, even when people freaking out about like the announcement of like Meta, people just like, oh, I never want to be in Meta. Like, bitch, you already live in Meta. Like you fully live in a Meta. Like you have a personality on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? That you're fully giving to. Like, you know, like you post up these photos, and it's just like this is the lifestyle I'm leading, and it's not quite reflective. It's not all the reflective of your real life, but it's the life that you want people to like know, and you're like interacting. You're giving so much. We've been living Meta.
It's interesting. The difference is you don't maybe have like an actual avatar yet.
I mean, the avatar is like your
yeah.
pictures, you know, saying in like your little icon and stuff like that. That's your avatar.
Yeah.
Your app. That's your avatar as well.
Yeah.
You know, but that's not your real name. Like my real name isn't like @Duckworth, but my social identity that's @Duckworth. You know?
Right.
So Meta.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Mancy?
Yeah. What do you have any thoughts on that?
I had a friend tell me about 4 years ago. He used to work at Apple, but he was saying he was like pretty major at Apple. He made some of the stuff that we still use. He was saying this thing. He was explaining phones to us, and then he eventually said that how we're pretty much becoming our phones. Like we're becoming super efficient, faster, really impatient. Same kind of thing. Same by our social battery dies, phone dies. Like he's like pretty much we're becoming our phones. Like
wow.
The phone is made to be efficient and to fit in your life, kind of like a pet does. Like a pet, like a dog finds its way to fit into your life, your schedule. With the phone becomes the things we're directly attached to it at all times. We check when we wake up. We check it before we go to sleep. We fall asleep to it. It's like the last and first thing we see every day.
Wow.
You know, and it's like, well, we're becoming the same way. People's attention spans have shortened because of it. You know, like your phone improves with these updates, and you are updated too. You know,
it's wild.
It is. There's a movie that came out a few years ago called Her. Where,
it seemed unbelievable, but now it's like literally the AirPod is the same size and same shape. And
the main character basically fell in love with Siri, essentially, which is wild.
That's wild. But no, man, correct. Yeah, that shit's wild.
All right, let's go quickly into a reflection. And I actually I want to bring both of you into this, but Duckworth, let's start with you. When you think about your life, just personally, but also as an artist, how do you view yourself, and kind of what do you think your role is?
I view myself as a vessel. Now, how do I view myself? I don't know. I'm kind of just.
Or maybe how do you view your role in life?
Oh, okay, because I was like, it's about to get real existential here.
No, I'm down for existential. Let's talk about both.
I don't know. I'm just here observing, taking in. You know, I kind of feel like an astronaut in an astronaut suit a lot of times. Like I'm just.
With a V-neck.
Get out. But I feel like I'm really just taking
That's
in.
the dream. That's the dream we had. That astronaut with a V-neck on.
That's so disgusting. That's so disgusting.
You forget that era.
So bad.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Plunging V-necks.
You said you're
belly buttons. Anyway,
you said you're an astronaut.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like an alien sometimes, bro. Like I really feel like a lack of connection to a lot of things, and I'm just more so here like observing. But it makes sense because our energy comes from somewhere else, and yeah, in that sense we are like experiencing life on this third dimensional plane. But I really feel it sometimes. And I'm just like, okay, cool. And like I go into like a cave, like you test to it. Like you won't hear from me for like months, bro. And like I just be like cave, you know. And it's not like from depression or anything like that. It's just I think because it had to do with my youth too. When I was young, like before I can go outside, the whole 14 thing, like I had to make my own world, you know. And I don't notice it sometimes, but I still would do that. I would just be in my own world in my head and shit. So it's weird, but sometimes it helps though. It helps because then like I don't feel pressured to have to be with society, you know, and do what society does. Like I kind of, for lack of better words, walk to the beat of my own drum. As far as like you said, how do I view myself as far as my contributions?
Yeah, how do you? Yeah, 100%.
I want to leave this world with like some gems, you know. Like I don't have to be the biggest superstar in the world. Like besides, like they suicidal anyway, so I don't have to be the biggest thing. I just want to like just leave this earth with something that they can actually use in the future instead of like taking so much away. I want to, you know, maybe make some kids one day, have great sex, You know, that's a big part of it. You know, and enjoy great food. Literally, bro. Like, and that's a tourist way too.
Yeah, it's a straight tourist.
It's a tourist way, bro. We're all about pleasure,
passion,
you know?
and pleasure and beauty.
Yeah, for real. Like, I want to see the most beautiful places. I want to experience the most beautiful women. You know, and just like have great exchanges. I want to be like 60 and tell the most amazing stories.
60 is young too.
70 bro. And tell the most tell the best stories, you know. And other than that, yeah, you know, live it well and then, you know, die, I guess.
Mancy, you have any comments, but also any thoughts in terms of yourself?
What was the question?
Oh,
the question was pleasures and no, I'm playing. Question is about your role in life and as an artist and how you view yourself in the grand scheme of things.
I don't know. I struggle with that personally. I'm not always able to translate and describe how I see myself or the person or the artist I am necessarily. I think it was always told to me and it makes sense once I hear it. But I don't know. I like to just do all things. Like anything I'm inspired by, I like to do it. Like I try everything out and I practice everything. Anything that I love, I'm like, I get really into and I practice it. And I just like spend time to learn it, to do it, just to kind of dive into it. I feel like I'm always chasing passion in some way or another. So even all my life experiences, I feel like I get tired of things, not in a way where I have to dispose of them, but it's like I need to always be shifting to something, to learn, to constantly learn something. I feel like I love when things feel new, you know? So
I think that's
so similar. I guess it's a similar answer, but it's just more of a
yeah.
It's articulated differently.
What I think is cool too is both of you are very like driven, you know? And so I think there's also something that's exciting about being uncomfortable. Like there's growth in that discomfort, and it seems like both of you are always trying to push that boundary of comfort and discomfort, because on the other side of that discomfort is growth as well, and new experiences, new opportunities. So yeah, I think that's really dope, both as individuals, but also from what I've seen of both of you as artists, you know, as creatives. So I love that. All right, let's do. We're gonna fast forward real quick to rapid fire for both of you. We'll start with Duck. Favorite city in the world?
London.
Mancy?
I don't know yet. I'm just gonna say Oakland, just because.
I love that. Favorite quality about yourself?
What? What are you about to say?
What?
Bruh, what?
Oh, maybe my sense of style. Yeah, my sense of style and my affinity for boots.
Okay, I love that. Okay. Mancy?
I don't know. Shit.
What's up? Your eye.
Okay, yeah. That's more for you. I mean, yeah. Okay.
But that's also
taste. I say taste. I say
taste.
Let's go.
I say cool. You know, because I feel like those are things that are you can't teach that. You can't teach soul. You can't teach taste. So I'm really grateful.
I like that
to have those things and blessed out of.
Duck, I also want him to answer because I don't want. He just said that people tell him things, and I want him to. No, I'm serious.
Look, I mean, it's all good, so I'm not mad at it.
No, but I think it's dope because that's
what yourself the realest person in the room. Somebody else has to do that, right?
True.
Yeah, but sometimes you gotta like celebrate yourself and be happy with yourself.
Sometimes
and proud of yourself.
That comes across as trying to flex, though. And I think
it's not a flex
to make people feel small.
Hey, look, I know I'm great.
Yeah, you could know. I feel like I have an idea of that, but I'm like, I want everybody to feel great, you know?
Yeah.
Too. Yeah, they can feel great through your greatness.
There it is.
There it is. All right, a book that changed your life.
You gonna think I'm a basic bitch. Harry Potter, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Oh God, bro.
Wow.
Because I was raised like mad religious.
Yeah.
And like that book. I don't know. I ain't gonna play, bro. I mean, that's why the whole structure still stands today. But Harry Potter, like I read like a good like 6 of them, and it literally like it made me so like it made the fantasy in my mind even more concrete.
I love that. Mancy?
I got 2. I read both of these back to back, but I'll say the 4 Agreements and the autobiography of Gucci Mane.
Wow, cool.
It's a really good book, man. You got some stuff in there that's some quotes in there that are just so important to think about in life. He says one that his father taught him. He said, if you keep looking back, you're gonna trip going forward. So.
I love that.
I love it. I live through that.
Moment you're most proud of?
When I turned 30, I was in Australia on stage, opening up for Paul something.
Paul Wall.
Not Paul. I wish. Paul something. I forgot his name, but he's one of the biggest Australian artists. I didn't open up for him, actually. I performed after him, but yeah, that happened. It was so many people, and then I met up with Napalm, the lead singer of Hiatus Coyote, and she gave me this like Michael Jackson baseball card.
Oh wow!
And then like took me to this like really crazy cool like dessert shop in San Francisco, and I had like one of the best like chocolate little things in my whole entire life. But like that was like one of my most magical birthdays. I remember that moment. It was crazy.
It's very cool.
Is that a moment that we're proud of?
Yeah, moment you're most proud of.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's supposed to be proud.
This man just talked about his best birthday.
My birthday was so proud.
My best birthday? My best birthday? Me? The first one. The first one I was
Don't get me
born.
started on
That
birthday.
day, the day I was born. That was the best one. That was crazy. Came out. I don't know. I don't know. I think there's many times where I feel like I had realizations, and I think some of those times could be like when the publication comes out or something that you just didn't think you would do or that you would be connected to comes out, and then you get the resonation from it or things come from it, and you just realize. I think there's a point where you realize where you're at in your life, and then you look back to where you were and remember that time when you wanted to get there. I had that came to my place the other day. He's like, did you imagine that you would be like doing this in this spot? And I was like, I trip out sometimes because I look around and I'm like, man, I actually wanted this at some point. So I think it's those moments I'm reminded where I'm like, oh.
Very much so.
So it's constant moments.
It's always constant because it's like sometimes it's unbelievable. Like he knows where we all started. It wasn't here, you know? So it just feels incredible. Like every turn of it is always like dope.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then yeah. And then hold on. Oh, okay. So 2012, I was on shrooms. And then
you all got shrooms, sir. I got one 2016.
Was it what? Oh yeah.
I got another. Yeah, I mean. Yeah.
So 2012, I was on. Man, it was some really good shrooms too. And then I had so many epiphanies, but the epiphany that stood out to me was if you walk this path in full faith, you never have to worry about where money comes from ever again. And I would say, like, in this current moment of 2022, I don't have to worry about where money's coming from. So I think that spark, and then this moment right now is the moment I'm proud of, where I can really look back at that moment and like, oh damn, like God once again, you know what I'm saying, from like me saving me from getting my ass beat in high school.
The prayer,
to, like,
the prayer team,
you know what I'm saying, to me taking shrooms, and God's like, hey, you good? Just, walk in faith, girl. I was just like, thanks God. Yo, man.
That's big too. Walking by faith is major. I'm telling you, like, there's times where you don't know where it's going, where it's coming from. But I think I had one of those shroom moments too, bro. And I had one of those where it was like, I just stopped caring about just anything that didn't pertain to me being happy and excited. Like, I just do anything that I feel inspired by.
Literally, I'm just walking in it.
It's beautiful. Man, I have so many other questions, but I think we're gonna wrap it up.
We need part two.
We need a part two of this.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you to both of you for coming today and having this beautiful conversation.
Oh, yeah.
I love both your energies. Mancy, it's great to see you again. What do you Duck, it's been great to get to know you in the past 24 hours. And appreciate both of you. Have some gifts for you. I'll give them to you in a sec. But yeah, any last words? There it is. Isaac's bobbing his head.
Once again, we want to give it up for Mancy Gant for being here with us today.
This is what we call the talk hour, where we all come through and really smoothly just talk over the mic.
You understand what I'm saying? Like that,
and breathe quite heavy on the mic.
You know, I want to thank Umar Issa for inviting me.
Umar Issa.
You know what I'm saying? I want to thank myself.
Thank our boy Isaac.
And thank you, Isaac.
Shout out Isaac for staying late. Isaac, thank you. I appreciate you.
They turn the lights off out here, but we out here still holding it down, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen,
hold it up.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, can I announce something real quick before I go?
Announcements.
All right, check this out. Look, I got a tour coming called the Chrome Bull World Tour, baby. You know what I'm saying? Coming to the city near you. You understand what I'm saying? All around America. And
America.
And
come on out, baby.
Europe and UK. So
come
if
to
you
the
see
show.
me in your city, bring a titty. You feel me?
In front of the row.
Like that, you know, and then we're going to have a good time. You know what I'm saying?
Boop.
We out this time.
Pop. All right.